have so generously given us.
Thank you, Mr. Moran.
Thanks, Madam Chairman, for having this hearing. I have enormous regard for you, Dr. Shah, but I'm not going to address my questions at you. I'm going to address them at Ambassador Holbrooke, because you're not particularly a warrior or an aid administrator. You're a diplomat, and par excellence. And you're just the kind of person we need. I don't disagree with any of the facts that you have shared with us. I do disagree with your conclusions, though. You've lost me for whatever it's worth in terms of the viability of this mission. And I voted accordingly yesterday. One of the turning points, I think, was Marja. It was supposed to be an Afghan National Army offensive. We claimed it as successful. But when you look at the number of wounded and dead, 85% of them were Americans. There's a story I was told when I was over in Afghanistan that the one particular Marine company had given the marketplace in the middle of Marja, and they routed the Taliban. They couldn't find their A&A counterparts, sent out a scout. They find them in the marketplace, sitting on the ground, smoking hash, with a pile of stuff that they had looted from the shopkeepers. So we reimbursed the shopkeepers what amounted to $300 to $500 apiece to make up for all the goods the Afghan army had taken. And one of the people who's in a position of consequence in this mission shared with me what the elders told him. We didn't liberate Marja. The Taliban did, from a corrupt police chief that was taking everything they were making. And then the government reimposes somebody they brought from Germany, who was also corrupt. In fact, had been convicted of violent crime. Can't imagine why. I can only speculate that they were involved in as a conduit or something for drug trade or some kind of reason. But anyways, he didn't belong where he was put. The problem that the elders related was that the government is never going to get the loyalty of the Afghan people because it doesn't deserve it. It'll be another generation. After we educate the government servants and so on, particularly the police and military, we don't have the political will in this country, let alone the resources or the lives to expend in that effort. They feel that the only hope, although it is not by any means a perfect solution, is the kind of government of conciliation, whatever you want to call it, collaboration with the Taliban that President Karzai has cited. That worked in Ireland. I'm familiar with it. I know you are. I know they reached out to Jerry Adams. A lot of the folks in New York City and other places couldn't believe they were doing that, but it worked. To some extent, it worked in the Balkans. I'd like to hear from you, Ambassador Holbrooke, whether as an imperfect situation, but perhaps expedient given all the other factors considered, whether you think we could bring about such a government. Can we find the kind of Taliban leaders who are willing to forswear the exportation of violence and divorce themselves from Al-Qaeda, who are really in South Waziristan, Pakistan, not so much right now in Afghanistan, and bring about the kind of local government's justice, if you will, albeit terribly harsh, that many of the people are looking for.
Thank you, Congressman Moran. It's good to see you again. I'd like to address the macro part of it, and with the chairwoman's permission, Frank Giro, who's just returned as my deputy, was in Kandahar and Marja He's just been back a few days. I think he might give us a very vivid picture of the issue that the congressman just mentioned. On your larger point, as President Obama and Secretary Clinton and the rest of us have said, we support the reconciliation program of President Karzai that you referred to. We support it. And we also support the reintegration program that I discussed earlier in response to an earlier question. With 3 red lines. Those red lines are for our own national security. And just to repeat them because they are so critical, renounce al-Qaeda, lay down their arms and participate in the political process. Thousands of people have done that. The program's atrophied over the last few years. Last year was a year focused on the Afghan elections, which were very messy. We got through those. Close call, but we got through them, and now we have got the government has resurrected the reintegration program. They've added what you correctly called the reconciliation program, and we're going to support it. But I would caution you, there's a lot less there so far than the press has speculated on. With that, Madam Chairwoman, could I ask Frank Ruggiero to answer the second part of the question?